Shalom everybody. This video is about Halloween, the truth of Halloween. The Feast of the Dead. Everyone knows that the celebration of Halloween involves witches, warlocks, jack-o'-lanterns, and an odd little phrase, trick or treat. They feel it's innocent and it's all about pretending as they teach their little ones to dress up and join in on the fun. Is our Creator fond of us doing this? Or are we practicing something originating in darkness that is absolutely evil in His eyes? The word Halloween is a hybridization of the phrase All Hallows Eve, or All Hallowed Even. Hallowed means holy, and is a word derived from halo, a nimbus, hoop, or glowing emanation around the head of a deity such as India's Krishna. Buddha is often depicted with a hoop or glowing orb around his head, as is Jupiter of the Romans and Samhain of the Druids. This practice of relating a round glow to the heads of deities or enlightened ones was adopted by Catholicism from the Romans, stemming from even more ancient pagans. The statue of Jupiter has a halo and was renamed Peter. The Catholics adopted the halo from paganism to indicate that a person was a saint, so their images of dead saints could be properly venerated. The idea of being haloed meant the person was holy, and this idea is conveyed in the term hallowed or hallowed. Pagan customs, symbols, and rituals related to sun worship overtook the early development of Christianity. The halo is directly related to the solar nimbus, which the pagans formerly worshipped. They adopted and learned the ways of the heathen, a violation of Deuteronomy chapter 12, verses 28 to 32. The Druids, sun worshippers of the north, held a grim observance for their lord of the dead, Samhain. At the time of the year when the days grew short, the dark half of the year was marked by the arrival of the observance of Samhain. As the Norse, the Celtic Teutonic lands became Christianized, this observance, known as Samhain, was reinvented, disguised, and camouflaged in new meanings. Just like today, people in the past could imagine all sorts of unreal things to give them a good scare. There was Jack Frost coming to get them in the winter, and at Samhain, they believed the dead walked the earth, seeking treats. Children were sacrificed to Baal at certain times of the year by the Druid priests. The melted fat from the child was used to make a candle and placed inside a gourd and called Jack of the Lantern. This object was then placed at the front door of his parents. The Irish had a modified form of this pagan behavior, using burning embers inside turnips that were carved to resemble small faces. The Celtic, Scots, and Irish believed in elves, fairies, gnomes, ghouls, ogres, trolls, and all manner of monstrous flapdoodle. If there was a prize to be awarded to a group of people for their paganism, these Celts would be a tough competition. Witches have been around since Nimrod and Nimrod's wife. Nimrod's wife continued her husband's rebellion against Yahuwah. Her name was Semiramis. To invoke powers from demons, cast spells, incantations to curse or cause luck, or foretell the future through familiar spirits is condemned by Yahuwah. And the penalty is death. Exodus chapter 22, verse 18. Deuteronomy chapter 18, verse 10. Let no one be found among you who makes his son or his daughter press through the fire, or one who practices divination, or a user of magic, or one who interprets omens, or a sorcerer, or one who conjures spells, or a medium, or a spiritist, or one who calls up the dead. For whoever does these are an abomination to Yahuwah. And because of these abominations, Yahuwah, your Elohim, drives them out from before you. Exodus chapter 22, verse 18. Do not allow a witch to live. The first king of Israel, Saul, sought the advice of the witch Endor. Witches or wizards were thought to possess occult knowledge and powers over the world. People believed they could fly or change into an animal. Animism was common among rural, backward people. The witch's broomstick was interpreted to be a male object of life-giving power. Witches were thought to fly above the crops with a broomstick between their legs in order to teach the crops how to grow. Modern secularism is a trend that ignores the true creator of the heavens and the earth, and embraces the idea that humanity is the highest order. Asherah is one pagan deity worshipped by witches. The ancient symbol of Asherah is the cone of power, another male emblem. When a coven of witches accepts a new initiate, they bestow this cone hat upon them. A coven of witches will use these hats collectively to summon Asherah, and they believe their powers may be combined this way. From pagan to Christian, some historians trace the origin of Halloween back to the ancient Christian tradition of celebrating the lives of Christian martyrs on the anniversaries of their deaths. When Pope Boniface IV reconsecrated the Pantheon in Rome on May 13, 609 CE, renaming it the Church of St. Mary and the Martyrs, he established that anniversary as a day of celebratory remembrance for all of the Church's martyrs. Pope Gregory III later changed the date of remembrance to November 1st, when he dedicated a chapel in St. Peter's Basilica to All Saints. November 1st became All Saints' Day, otherwise known as All Hallows' Day. The night before became All Hallows' Eve, Halloween being a contraction of that phrase. While Halloween began as a localized celebration, Pope Gregory IV extended its observance to all of Christendom in the 9th century. The policy of the Catholic Church was to adapt the customs of an indigenous population, pagan practices, and give them new meanings more appropriate to controlling them or steering them towards their priests, rather than the pagan priests. In other words, the RCC would show salvation to a population by using that population's own former pagan framework. The end justifies the means to the Roman Catholic Church, especially if it can remain the tyrant in charge. The word pagan is derived from the Latin term pagus, meaning a rural person, who was commonly a highly superstitious individual with quaint beliefs concerning the spiritual realms or realm. Halloween is not secular. Governmental educators who normally shun anything religious in their school systems will enthusiastically embrace the celebration of Halloween, declaring it to be a secular holiday. The custom stemmed from hidden occult paganism, and even the word itself refers to the Catholics' attempt to disguise the former idolatry, cloaking the observance in terminology that refers to one of their contrived holy days. Catholic. The word Catholic means universal, and church is Circe or Circe. All pagan. This celebration is visible evidence of the architecture of the beast system. Humanism has become the popular religion of the times. People are kept extremely busy, distracted, and pursuing the lusts of their flesh. Death is believed to be the final end of them, and if their end is no better than a dog's end, this is a terrible gamble to make. Any experienced gambler will tell you that betting everything on one of two possibilities is foolish. If we gamble that there is nothing beyond our death to worry about, and we can live as dogs and never pay any penalty for our behavior, we are placing our eternal lives on this bet. On the other hand, if we gamble that there might be a creator to answer to that revealed himself in miraculous ways and even gave us his words to live by, and we live by those words, then what have we lost if it turns out there is no creator to answer to? We can still live a good, happy life by obeying our creator's words. If we live in such a way that offends our creator, what then? There's definitely a creator, 100%. And his name is Yahuwah. Proverbs chapter 28, verse 18. He who walks blamelessly is saved, but the perverted of ways falls at once. Idolatry can take many forms. People rationalize the things they want to do, ignoring all but their own point of view or mindset. Overcoming the world is very difficult for a person who is only living for what they want to get out of it. The culture each of us is born into is filled with the imprints and rituals of people who were idol worshippers in the distant past. The excuses. I don't think of it that way, or it doesn't mean that anymore. Any simple rationalizations or mental aerobatics which a person employs to not face reality are simply rationalizations or mental aerobatics which a person employs to not face reality. The facts a person ignores will, in the end, turn out to be very important. What you don't know or don't admit can hurt you. White magic, black magic, it's all satanic witch stuff. Halloween is an adaptation of a pagan observance, and it is a spiritual poison. Don't allow your children to partake of the filth the nations are drinking from the cup in the hand of the woman who rides the beast. Revelation chapter 17. Also, Halloween is a day that the Illuminati and the occult, satanic, secret societies hold their rituals. It's another day. They have many days that they do. Witches operate from the point of view that the world is filled with powers they hope to gain control over. They seek to learn how to exploit these powers for their use. Wicca means to bend, and they seek to bend events. Many of you who are reading this are already aware of the evil, sinful, gross idolatry that is behind the observance of Halloween. Wait until you learn about the origin of Sunday, bells, Christmas, Easter, Ishtar. Halloween is just a sample of the pagan customs that were assimilated into early Christianity, adapting satanic formats to convey the message of Scripture to pagans became the pattern of the Catholic Church, causing it to become the apostasy, fallen from the original faith. Most of these practices came over to the U.S. with Irish Catholics fleeing the potato famine of the mid-19th century. The Puritans did not celebrate such things, and in fact were persecuted in the Old World for their shunning of such pagan customs. The Messiah of Yisrael, Yahusha of Nazareth, would not teach you to perform anything that was pagan in origin. Redirected a formerly pagan ritual to honor him, or even make up a form of worshiping him. He desires that we obey his Torah and the Ten Commandments. These are not suggestions, but his declarations for us to live by. If you enter into this covenant with him as the mediator, Satan will be your enemy. And the dragon was enraged with the woman, and he went to fight with the remnant of her seed, those guarding the commands of Elohim and possessing the witness of Yahusha HaMashiach. Revelations chapter 12 verse 17. Also see chapter 14 verse 12, Revelation. Halloween is no good. I used to celebrate Halloween. I grew up celebrating Halloween. I don't celebrate it anymore. I repented from it. I was unaware, just like most people are. I mean, it's a filthy holiday. It's got nothing but satanic, pagan origins in it. And Yahuwah is not happy with you if you're celebrating Halloween. I can tell you that right now. He's not. Where is Halloween in the scriptures? It's not in there. It's not in there. It doesn't exist. It's a satanic holiday. So I suggest all of you repent if you haven't already done so, and follow the Leviticus, chapter 23 Leviticus feast days. This was the truth about Halloween. Shalom, everybody.